Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak yet again. Good afternoon, and welcome to yet another live with Amreen Binish. Thank you for joining us today. As we approach the end of our observation of the holy month of Ramadan, I hope and dearly pray that it's been a time of deep spiritual reflection, community, and self discipline for you. In this month, Women to Women has had several discussions on so many topics relative to Ramadan in Islam and how it pertains to our Pakistani American life, from mental health care as a Muslim to the empowerment of women in Islam to fulfilling an essential responsibility to community last week with our discussion of Fard Kifaya. I especially feel it is very essential to have an extremely meaningful and especially knowledgeable conversation about how we nourish and care for our bodies during this sacred time. Especially so because during this time we're often eating copious amounts of food with high caloric intake in one sitting. Now, today's panel will explore the vital role of food and nutrition and hydration um, during the month of Ramadan. And we are blessed to have our expert with us, Ms. Hafsa Farooqi, a certified health coach and nutritionist. And she will give us some insight about, our daily intake and in terms of hydration and food from suhoor to iftar, and how to keep a balanced nutrition, staying hydrated while fasting, adapting daily routines to support both physical and spiritual health. And we're honored to have her here. Thank you so much for joining us, Hafsa.
Of
Welcome
course,
to our
pleasure.
live.
Pleasure.
So, Hafsa, before we begin, would you like to add any more details to your expertise on this?
Oh, I would just like to help, and I'm glad that you reached out. I wish we did this even earlier, but never late than better. Never, I mean,
Better late than yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
Exactly.
my
No, you are actually. I mentioned this to Busha and to our team. You are a dream come true because I've been wanting to do a live on nutrition in Ramadan for like 2 years now, but unfortunately, it's hard to find a nutritionist that has the background necessary to discuss this topic from a relatable aspect. And when my dear friend Dr. Shazia Saif, remember the dermatologist you guys from like 2 months ago recommended you, I hopped to it and I contacted you right away. But thank you
awesome.
so much for joining us. Bushra.
Absolutely.
And of course, we have with us our moderator, Bushra Salman. You've seen her in many other lives that Women to Women hosts as well. Bushra?
Yes. Thank you so much, Binish, for having me. And thank you, Hafsa, for taking time out for this very much needed session. I also wish we have done it earlier, but it's never too late. It would be helpful in next Ramadan
Yeah.
and in general in our day-to-day life. So I think I should start our long list of questions. The first question is, which is very important, what are the best foods to eat for sahur to sustain the energy throughout the day?
Okay, so first and foremost, I always say that to understand how we eat, it is important to understand that there are three basic macros, which is your protein, your healthy fats, and your carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are further divided into simple and complex carbohydrates, and then we also have a lot of fiber that we need to talk about, which I believe, I sometimes like to say, it's the fourth macro, because a lot of our foods are missing the fiber today versus almost a century ago or 80, 90 years ago, how the food was agricultured or was manufactured. So the first and foremost thing I always say to include in sehri is protein. And a good source of protein will keep you satiated throughout the day instead of giving you hunger spikes throughout the day. So the best and foremost protein, I believe, is eggs. It has literally every vitamin except for vitamin C. It is a really clean source of protein. Also a very versatile food. You can do omelette, you can boil them, you can make a salad, you can fry them. There's so many ways to have them. If for some reason you're not able to, and obviously not, you don't want to eat egg every day, so then you can opt for something lighter that's on your stomach, which is yogurt. Again, a great source of protein. It has casein protein, so people who work out, it's great for muscle building as well. It has a higher content of water, so it also helps with the hunger. If you want to take it as a snack, you can take it as a snack. If you want to complete this as a meal, you can add some berries and nuts to it so that your carbs and fats are also in there, so to make it a complete meal. So that's one way of having it. You can even make yogurt smoothies. You can add berries to it. If you don't want to eat it, you can drink a smoothie. The third most important is lean meats. Not everybody has the appetite to eat meat in the morning, but kebabs is a good way to get some lean protein in. You can do chicken, you can do grilled fish. I know a lot of my Bengali clients, they like to do fish in the morning. So, because I cater to a vast, different kind of, audience. I even have Arab people or Afghan people who like to eat like shorba, like they have this salan shorba that they call, and there's meat in there. Even though I appreciate that you eat meat, but let's not go to red meat a lot, or let's say not do lamb a lot, which a lot of Arab people do, because lamb, one, it's very high in calories and fats, and if you're trying to stay in a deficit, then it becomes very heavy for you to digest it. So you can have it once in a while, but a great source would be chicken or kebabs, or even beef kebabs are fine. Very easy to prepare and quick and easy. Then the next one that I always recommend is whey protein. Now, people who work out, I know I do, my husband does, I have a lot of clients who are have an athlete background. They always work out, even in Ramadan, during the fast or before and after. It depends, completely your choice. So if you are working out, you have to have whey protein as a supplement. You can add it to your sehri, or sometimes if you don't feel like eating in the morning, so you can definitely just have a protein shake. You can add a little bit of avocado and berries. It's a complete meal. So there's protein, there's fats, there's carbs in it. So you can have a smoothie like that. And another really good snack is, like, you can even put like avocado on the bread. Healthy fats will keep you satiated for longer. It will not give you a insulin spike, which is your blood sugars will not rise. So you have to understand, when you're eating something especially which is high in carbs, is going to give you a blood spike, right? Your blood sugar or your insulin is going to rise, and it's going to crash suddenly. And when that happens, you feel hungry. So if you include a lot of protein and healthy fats in your sahur, you're not going to feel that, because it's going to keep you satiated slowly, and gradually it'll release energy throughout the day, if that helps.
No, it does. And I like the fact that you gave example from the various types of food. It would help like various people in audience. So thank you.
Perfect. So unfortunately, my fruit chart during sehri isn't cutting it. I have to add that boiled egg, especially, and protein for sure.
Absolutely. Fruits
So
are a great source. Don't get me wrong. That is one way of getting your fiber in. Fruits and vegetables. A lot of people don't have appetite for vegetables in the morning, but fruits are a great source. But just add some yogurt to it. You can make a parfait. You can make a healthy one. You can add yogurt and fruits, and it will become a proper meal.
excellent. So I'll be completely honest with you, like because I've already followed an intermittent fasting diet. So Ramzan and food is not necessarily my weakness or my Achilles heel during Ramadan. I always suffer because of water. I'm a big water drinker, and I think I drink more than the necessary amount throughout the day. And in Ramadan, that is literally the thing I miss, so much so that my legs even cramp up. I do a lot of walking because I work in the city. And so because of that, I often have a hard time keeping up with hydration. I can feel it not only in my energy level, but also specifically in just feeling very lethargic in my skin, my hair, my nails. How can one stay hydrated through fasting? That's a
Amazing question. That's a very, very interesting one. And I get this a lot. So conquering thirst is something that, obviously, because you're not able to drink throughout the day. For me also, I understand that drinking water is, I wake up and I drink water, and I get I get at least a gallon, especially the days that I'm working out. I get a gallon in. And obviously in Ramadan, because you have a small window, you can't complete your intake of water. So the first and foremost thing to understand is that you don't want to be dehydrated. That's one thing. So drinking a lot of water is not the solution, because the more you're going to drink, you're going to pee it out. The problem is, or the motive is, to retain that water in your body. So for that, I highly recommend doing electrolytes. So when you're doing now, obviously you can't do 80, 90 or 100 ounces or maybe a gallon of water in Ramadan, but here's how you can manage at least the bare minimum specification for your body, which is at least 8 glasses. How do you do that? You do 2 glasses in sehri, you do 2 glasses when you break your fast, then you do 2 glasses when you're doing isha namaz, and then you do another 2 glasses during tarawih or throughout the night if you're up. So that is how you manage your 8 glasses of water, which is about 64 to 70 ounces of water. However, the point is not not to just keep drinking that water, it's also to retain it. And for that, you need to add electrolytes. Now, a very natural electrolyte that's found in nature is one, pink Himalayan salt. Everybody is familiar with it. I'm not going to name any brands, but there's multiple there out in the market. You can grab any brand of pink Himalayan salt. A pinch would do. Now, you can take it in two ways. You can either put a little bit of salt on your tongue at the tip, and then you can drink the water in the morning in sahur. It'll keep you hydrated. Or you can add a little bit with lemon in your water, and then you can have that water. You can sip through it throughout tarawih or throughout your night when you break your fast. Now, another really great occurring salt in nature that gives you electrolytes is Celtic salt or Celtic salt. People call it different ways. So Celtic. Celtic salt is actually available in many markets. You can find it online, on Amazon, anywhere. So either that or this. These are two ways to kind of get your electrolytes in naturally. Another very natural way is coconut water. Coconut water is also a great electrolyte occurring in nature, and you can have that. Now, obviously, people who have diabetes, they should be careful because it does have all cholesterol, because it is high in sugars, right? It does spike your blood sugar. So that is one thing you should be careful if you're diabetic. But otherwise, again, I say if there's a big bottle, you can do one glass during sahur, one glass when you break your fast. Great way to, instead of doing sugary drinks or sodas, this is a great way to incorporate, some kind of hydration that will keep you satiated throughout the day. Another great way is also any electrolyte that you can find in the market. But see, the problem with brands is nowadays it's just table salt in the brands. So you want to grab an electrolyte brand that has either pink Himalayan salts or 92 minerals. It should, because the point is to get those minerals in your body. When your body is depleted of minerals, that's when you actually feel the thirst and you're dehydrated. So you want to get an electrolyte brand which is, one, sugar free. Second, it has pink salt or some kind of Celtic salt or some kind of minerals to kind of, you want to look for magnesium, potassium, calcium. Those are the things you want to actually look for to keep you hydrated. Now, a couple of foods that also help for hydration are also yogurt. Yogurt is 70 to 80% water, and it actually helps you. If you take a cup of yogurt during sehri, it's going to keep you like a little, it'll keep thirst at bay. Also, another thing is cardamom. When you have a little bit of cardamom, maybe one or two cloves, and you just chew the seeds of it and then drink water, it will also keep thirst at bay. So these are a few tips that keep you going throughout. Another way of also making sure that you are getting hydrated, I have my 40-ounce flask of bottle that I drink at sehri, and then another 40 ounce that I drink post iftar. So again, you can either do 2 glasses, two, or you can do a 40-ounce and 40-ounce later on. So it completely is your choice how your body takes it and how you're able to retain that water.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
I had no idea with the Himalayan salt. Like that's an excellent tip.
Yeah.
Yes, excellent
Yeah,
source
I
of
read it somewhere. Yeah, I read it somewhere, but it's good to get information from a certified nutritionist. So
absolutely.
I have next question about prioritizing different types of food, but I think you have already answered in the first question that the protein is very much important. But anyway, I would ask to get more insight that what kind of protein or fats we should have in the
Okay,
sahur,
so
like what to
whenever
prioritize.
absolutely. So I'm not saying I don't demonize any foods, and I'm not saying that any foods are bad. But you have to understand that you're preparing for Ramadan, you're preparing for a day of fast where you're going to be out of food for a window of time. And so you want to eat something that's going to give you energy throughout the day. So there are proteins, fats, and carbs, right? Now, proteins are essentially important. I've told you there are eggs, there's meat, there's yogurt, there's so many. And I also do chia seed pudding is a great way of adding, fiber, protein, and fats all in one. So that's a great way of getting your complete meal. So that is one way if you want to put it. But protein, carbs, and fats are essentially important. You just want to be careful that when you're taking your carbs, what kind of carbs you're getting. Now, there are simple carbs and then there are complex carbs. I highly recommend people who work out or people who are more active during the day, or they have a job where they're walking throughout the day, or they're sitting, or they're very active. they should opt for more complex carbs. For example, a sweet potato is a complex carb, right? There are many, but then you want to see the quality of your carbs. So complex carbs kya hota hai? They give you energy slowly throughout the day, right? They release the energy slowly throughout. The simple carbs, or carbs which are like really high in fats, for example, a pizza dough, right? Or cookies or parathas, those things will actually give you an insulin spike really high, and then it'll crash down, which will give you more hunger pangs throughout the day. So you want to be careful what kind of carbs you're selecting for your suhoor. Okay. So the first and foremost, I would always say protein, protein, protein. Prioritize and focus on protein. It is the only macro that will give you sustained energy throughout the day. The second one, you want to focus on some healthy fats. Healthy fats, like for example, there's nuts, there's seeds, nuts like there's almonds, walnuts, pistachios. There is, obviously you want to be very careful when you're taking nuts because they're very dense in calories. So maybe like at least 10 or 5 or 10 is amount. I don't mean a handful. People take like 50 of them, but that's not what I mean. When I mean that you have to be mindful, you have to take literally 8 to 10 pieces of almonds or walnuts or whatever it is. Then there's nuts, seeds. For example, there's flax seeds, chia seeds, really good to keep you going, healthy fats. Also, chia seeds and flax seeds also have a lot of fiber, so that is another added plus. Then you have fats like avocado. That's my favorite fat to go for. So a little bit of avocado on if you want to go for breads, I would say go for sourdough or gluten-free kind of breads. They won't give you that kind of spike. White breads, white buns or croissants are not the way to go because they are very, very high in sugar, and they're going to give you a blood sugar spike and then crash. And so it'll give you a hunger pang very quickly. So you want to go for avocado bread, and you can spread it on a sourdough bread, which is great. Another great healthy fat is also olives. Olives are amazing if you can have them for suhoor. 2 or 3 of them, great healthy fat. When you are selecting your carbs, make sure that, even though you're having a bread which is sourdough, it is good for your gut because it has fiber and it is, fermented bread. So that actually is much better than a white bread or a paratha or a croissant, or, some people have rusk and tea or stuff like that. So it would actually be better if you focus on first protein, then your healthy fats, and in the end, put in some carbs. I'm not saying don't take carbs, but be careful what kind of carbs you're putting in your suhoor.
Okay, thank you so much. It's very helpful.
So I mean, we've covered a lot about suhoor, and unfortunately, contrary to our, what our moms tell us, just because it's Ramadan doesn't mean you can have a paratha and think that's, oh, nahi, koi baat nahi, Ramzan hai, main paratha khaungi to pura din maine kaam nahi no, because that's gonna make you. It's just gonna quickly, the insulin's gonna rise, as you said, and you're quickly going to digest it, if anything. And I actually, if we ever observe other than Ramadan, when we have a heavy breakfast like parathas, you actually get hungrier
Quicker.
faster. Yes, and I have been saying this like even before I even was focused on nutrition at all in terms of my own lifestyle. And I totally get what you're saying about how these things actually are, are going to fight your ability to go against, like, rather be able to. I'm losing my words, but you understand what I'm saying. But going back to now coming to iftar. But before we go to iftar, I'm just going to change the order of questions around a little bit. Like, say if I want to work out, I know a lot of friends that don't stop working out. Unlike me, I'm sorry. I promise I will go back after Ramadan. So, what do you suggest? Like, should we be working out in the middle of our fast, closer to iftar, right after suhoor? Should we even work out?
Okay, so working out is great. Again, like I say, working out is not to help you lose weight. It is more to build strength in you, okay, to build muscle in you. It is more for longevity. Don't get me wrong. It complements if you are eating a healthy diet. It helps and complements for weight loss. But working out should be a lifestyle. And whether Ramzan or not, you should be doing it. Now, there is no two ways about it. You can choose to take a break if your body doesn't. You have to listen to your body, right? I always say, hey, I can say something, science can say something, but you always know what your body is telling you. So you know better. If your body is not allowing you, don't do it. But here are 3 ways you can work out during Ramadan. Now, the first one is if you're up all night, try to work out an hour or 2 before sahur, because you already have eaten and you have that energy from your iftar, and you are able to put in that work and effort, right? And you're able to drink water through your workout. And I'm one of those people that I need water. I don't care about the food, but I need the water while I'm working out. So I cannot work out while I'm fasting. This is me. But there are many people who do, right? So the first option is to work out an hour or two before Sehri. And that is my husband, because he is an early riser. He wakes up at 4, he'll go to the gym. We have one downstairs in our house too, which he will do. Otherwise, if he has more energy, he'll go to the gym, which is 5 minutes away. So you can do that. That's a great way of doing it, because once you have that workout out of the way, then you can start your day. And trust me, when you work out, especially in the morning, anytime, your body releases more energy, more endorphins, and it'll give you more power and boost to get through the day. Plus, trust me, when I work out, I feel happier, I feel more, I feel stronger, and I feel like I can get through the day faster. So if you're working out, it actually will help you through your fast in Ramadan. That's one. Now, secondly, if you're fasting, if you're working out during the fast period, which is when you are in the condition of fast, which is when you're observing roza, then I would say don't go for heavy workouts. Don't go for like heavy cardios, intense cardios. So what you want to do is, and a very underrated exercise is walking. What I cannot stress enough, this craze of 10,000 and 12,000 steps is great, but you don't have to run. Honestly, you can do this in a very slow motion, brisk walk. That's it. You don't have to huff and puff. You don't have to sweat. Even if you get your walk in, that's great. A 20-minute walk just right before you break your fast, or during the day, if you're walking around in the house, that's great. Now, if you really want to do other things, you can do a gentle yoga or Pilates. You don't have to huff and puff during your fast. You can even do some swimming if your body allows and permits you. A little bit of cycling, again, at a very steady and slow pace. So these are workouts you can do during your fast, like when you're in the state of fasting. So there is no two ways about it. You obviously cannot eat, you cannot drink water. So just make sure your pace is steady. And even if you're strength training, I have had many clients who've strength trained during this fast. Instead of lifting heavy, what they do is they lift smaller weights. Like, for example, if someone's accustomed to lifting about 50 pounds or 80 pounds, they'll go and cut their weight in half, which is 40, and they'll do more reps. So that's also a great way to do it. So you don't huff and puff, and you're not sweating, and you're not, exerting your body, but you're getting some movement in your body, which is great for your body. Now, I am the third kind of person. I break my fast, I do my dates, I do my water, and then I get up and I'll go and pray, and I'll eat a small meal, some form of protein and carb mixture, and then I'll go to my workout. I'll come back and I'll eat my proper meal. So this is another way of working out. So there are three options. You can work out either before you actually start fasting. You can work out during your fast or after. Now, that's a personal choice, and I've already told you your intensity should be really, really slow and low while you're in the roza halat, or while you're fasting, because you're not able to drink. We don't want to sweat. We don't want to huff and puff. We don't want to go out of breath. That's not the point, because you don't want to put your body in trauma and tension, if that helps.
Okay, it does. I was going to ask what type of exercise, then you already answered that. I think it's like one size does not fit all. So you have to choose according to your body type and according to your stamina.
Yeah.
So
And some people have different, like, for example, during weekends, when we have more accessibility, we don't have our routine chores, so I'll go for a walk also during fasting, because I don't work out in the gym during weekends, so I just do it during the weekdays. So on the weekends, I'll just go for a walk while I'm in my fasting. I'll probably, my kids are cycling, and I'll just take a small brisk walk. So it depends on your routine, on how your body's feeling. You don't have to push yourself in. I do 3 times a week generally when I'm not fasting, not when I'm not in the month of Ramadan. But in the month of Ramadan, I'm only doing twice a week strength training, and then twice a week I'm doing this brisk walk. That's it. So listen to your body. Your body is already strained from fasting, from being dehydrated, from not getting the right nutrition, and you do feel lethargic at the end of the day when you open your fast. So you want to listen to your body. Don't go very, very intensely on your body. Let it rest.
Thanks.
Perfect. So, Bushra, do you want to take the next question?
Should we continue on the topic of Ramadan, or we should continue with the general dietary needs?
The general dietary needs. So, like you already kind of covered this, but just to kind of, you spoke about how you open your fast lightly and then you go work out. Do you recommend that be the better choice? Like, I know in our family we don't necessarily do the big meals. In iftar, we do more like iftari type of stuff, like small snacks, and I'll try to include a protein or whatever, because protein, as you said, is necessary. And you really can't eat that much anyway. But I've seen families that will literally lay out the table with lots of fried foods, a lot of heavy carbs. What do you suggest? Like, what is the better way to open your iftar? And just to kind of, this probably encompasses 3 or 4 questions that we had mentioned. Um, yeah, I always say don't go grocery shopping when you're fasting, so because you just want
Absolutely
to buy
not.
everything.
Not a good idea at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, is it like, how do you avoid overeating in iftar, especially because you feel like पूरा दिन आप सोच के आज मैं ये खाऊंगी, आज मैं ये खाऊंगी, क्या 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 आपका दिन गुजरता है. So how do you do that? How do you handle that?
Okay, so you have to understand the spirit of Ramadan too when you want to really understand what fasting is. Now, fasting is actually, see, Allah has not told us or commanded us to fast throughout the year. It's only this 1 month because you want to give your body a break, right? Physically, this is the your body detoxes also because you're eating at sometimes and then your liver gets a break. It's not continuously working throughout the day because you only eat at certain times. The second thing is spiritually, there are other reasons why we fast, but physically or biologically, your body needs a rest. Now, the spirit of Ramadan is to detox your body, right? So you're not, see, I'm not going to demean or denounce anybody who wants to have a good spread. Great for you. But the spirit of Ramadan and the sunnah says that the prophet used to eat 2 dates and water, and this is how he opened his fast. He didn't do a lot of big heavy meals. Now, I'm not saying you should not. Absolutely, if you feel like it, you could, but definitely start with dates. Now, when it comes to dates, it's very interesting. A lot of my diabetic clients are always asking me, can we open our fast with dates? Yes, you can. There are reasons why. Yes, it's very sweet, but what does it not spike your blood sugar is because dates is the only thing that is so sweet, but it also is loaded with fiber. So it doesn't spike your blood sugar like that. Because of the fiber, the spikes are a little less. So yes, dates is an amazing, and it has so many nutrients in it, and it has so much energy. It gives you like a boost of energy because you haven't eaten throughout the day. And if you open your fast with dates, amazing. Now, people who are diabetic, I'm going to also include this, that there are different kinds of dates, right? There's so many varieties of dates. There's majdool dates, there's deglet dates, there's ajwa dates. There's so many kinds. There are almost like at least 50 varieties of dates. Now, for people who are diabetic or who are trying to lose weight or who are trying to watch their health, deglet dates is one of the dates that has the least amount of sugar or the least amount of like sweetness in them. So that is one kind of way of opening your fast if you want to, and it's available everywhere in the market. You go look for deglet dates, they're going to have it. Another way is also ajwa dates, and ajwa dates are also a little less in the sugar content. However, majdool dates have the highest sugar content, or maybe more than these two. So you can choose which date you want. That is also one thing. You should definitely, after opening your fast with dates, I'll tell you one thing. Your body can survive without food for 10 days, but your body's going to die if it's not going to get water. Okay. So the first thing you want to do after dates is hydrate. And this is what the sunnah of the prophet is. You should hydrate first. Now, you can hydrate with water. You can hydrate with water and electrolytes. You can hydrate with coconut water, which I love, which is my personal choice too. I do a lot of coconut water during iftar because I want to get those electrolytes in and hydrate my body back in. So those are the things that really matter. Now, you could eat a small meal also. Like, for example, you can opt for something which is, which has some protein and carbs in it. And then you can get up, because give your body that break. Don't just cram your body with food right away. That's what I would say. Get up, go do your prayers, and then come back and eat in peace. This is how I like to do it. But there are other ways. People, want to eat their meal first and then get up and then do the prayers, which is also another way of doing it. How to avoid overeating? Again, now if you want to eat pakoras and samosas, which I understand a lot of people, for them this is what iftar and Ramadan is about, so then try to bake them or air fry them rather than frying them deep in oil. So that is one way of kind of watching what you're eating and not overeating. And also, when you're having heavy foods, it doesn't just cause bloating, it causes indigestion and lethargy. And then you can't, once you're done eating and you get up and you feel like, oh my god, I can't do anything, and that's because of the heavy oils. So if you are opting for samosas, for pakoras or spring rolls or anything that's traditional for your Ramadan but it's deep fried, try to opt for air frying it or baking it. Okay, same goes for kebabs. A lot of people do all of these things, but they will air and break. And also portion control. So there is, and it's a scientific fact, if you keep a 9-inch plate and a blue plate, generally, you will tend to eat less, right? So your plate should not be a big, huge size. It should be a smaller plate. 9-inch plate is, recommended, but you can go for a small plate as well. Because if your plate is so big, you're going to keep filling it up. So portion control will not be able to, you won't be able to practice it properly. So if you have a smaller plate and you take one of each item, you have had a taste of everything, yet you ate less. So one way is practice portion control. The other way is to bake and fry. Third thing is do not. And also another thing, I feel like when you're in the fasting condition, you look at something in the market, or you smell something and you're like, oh my god, I can eat an elephant right now, I'm so hungry. But when you actually sit down to eat, you will see that how temporary this feeling of hunger is at that point. Because you're so hungry, you feel it, but it passes very fast too. So you have to understand your body's emotions. Once you sit down to eat, you feel you can eat a lot, but you can't eat even half your plate. So that is the way to control it. Portion control, air frying and baking it, and then hydration first, your dates, your hydration, and then your food. Never like jump onto food the first thing when you open your iftar.
You are answering lots of questions we already had on our list, but I would ask some which are
Absolutely.
remaining.
Go ahead.
Ghazal ji
I
is
hope
asking.
everyone's, I'm sorry to interrupt. I hope everyone's taking notes. And I know a lot of you guys are going to go back and take notes. This is another live that a lot of people are, I hope, are
I know.
taking notes, inshallah.
I agree. So Ghazal is asking how much water we should drink, and I think you have already answered that
I
question.
can
That
answer it
you should
again.
you
Yeah.
should drink in episodes, not at
Yeah.
all at once, right?
So see, I'll tell you something. When it comes to water, I can literally write like I can go on and on. Okay. Water hydration is so important. You have to understand that water is H2O, which is hydration, one molecule, two oxygen. So you can only breathe so much oxygen through your nose, but when you're drinking water, you're getting oxygen directly into your bloodstream also. So it actually replenishes. It's great for your brain, right? Your brain works through oxygen. So you want to really make sure that you're getting the bare minimum that your body needs is about 64 to 70 ounces of water a day. Now, that is not your requirement, it's your body's organs requirement, right? So why? Because your body's organs have to function. The regular functions, like for example, your heart's pumping blood, your other liver, your lungs are doing, and for them to function properly, your body needs 64, 65 to 70 ounces of water. How you cannot do more than that. But how do you do that in that frame of time? You drink, so you that's about 8 glasses. If you want to do it in glasses, it's 8 glasses. You can do 2 in sahur, you can do 2 at iftar, 2 at isha, 2 at tarawih. That's how I like to do it. Or you can even do the 2 to 4 method, which is 2 in sahur or 3 in sahur, depending how much you can drink. Then you can do more during iftar, and then slowly sip through a 30 or 40 ounce throughout isha and iftaravi, and till you go to bed. So that's one way of doing it. I highly recommend, please focus if you're not measuring, because I generally, and I forgot to keep it with me, I generally have a tumbler which is 40 ounces, and a lot of people have a 30-ounce one too. So if you have something that already has a measurement, like for example, if it's 80 ounce 40 ounces, I know if I refill it one more time, it's going to be 80 ounces and I'm done, right? If you have a 30-ounce one, so make sure you're refilling it at least 2 or 3 times, right? So you get at least 60 to 70 or 80 ounces done. So that is one way of keeping track record. If you don't want to do that, you can do glasses, 2 glasses in the morning, 2 glasses at iftar, 2 glasses at isha and sahur, tarawih, and then you can do 40 ounces, or 30 ounces during your sehri, 30 ounces after iftar, and then you can keep going and adding to it as you feel. And also another thing is, if you don't fill up on water, you're going to end up eating more. So you can either eat or you can drink. So it is better to focus on drinking and hydration first. So that way also you tend to eat less, because your body cannot take so much water and so much food at one time.
Thank you so much. And since we have talked a lot about types of food and carbs versus protein versus fat, I think it's time to ask this question that many people experience bloating and indigestion during the Ramadan. So, what is your advice for that to avoid these two
Absolutely.
things?
Now, bloating and indigestion happens because of what you're putting in your body. So once you're aware that these are the foods that are causing bloating and indigestion, you avoid them. at least for Ramzan, because you don't want to feel that way. Now, the first one is the bloat. The indigestion happens because of fatty oils, deep fried stuff, or things that are very high in carbs and fried at the same time. So, for example, parathas, or for example, your fried pakoras and all of those. Now, you can limit them, or you can air fry and bake them, honestly. So indigestion can be avoided if you avoid. A lot of people also like to break their fast, and then they have nihari or biryani, right, and which is loaded with oils, or halim, or Afghan shorba. So those are things, or a fish curry which is like loaded with oils. Now those are things that are going to cause indigestion, right, and bloating at the same time. But if you avoid those things, maybe, or have it maybe once in a week, not every day, those kind of foods. So you feel like you're craving it, okay, have it once over the weekend maybe, and then you go for a walk after that. Now, for bloating, there are a few foods that cause it. Now, everyone's body is different, but there are certain generalized ones. For example, legumes and beans is something I don't recommend eating. And I know a lot of people do chola chaat or papri chaat, or they'll do like dahi baras, So those things are made out of lentils, beans, and these beans and garbanzos are actually, they're going to cause bloating, and they're going to cause a lot of gas. So for that particular reason, it interrupts your ibadah, right? And that's why I always say, please limit. Even though it does have some protein and good carbs in it, lentils and beans, I just say avoid it, or do a very small portion of it. Don't try to eat like a whole meal of papri chaat or chola chaat, or those kind of things, because they do cause bloating, and they also cause indigestion later on, and a lot of gas. Another group of foods that I say, some vegetables cause a lot of bloating and gas as well. For example, there's cauliflower, there's potatoes, some Brussels sprouts, those kind of vegetables you want. And for some people, it's also eggplant. So I know we make use a lot of these vegetables in making pakoras and stuff, or we put it in stuff. Like, for example, a lot of Arab clients, they have a lot of eggplant, they have a lot of Brussels sprouts in their meals, right? So I always tell them, avoid that for at least the Ramadan period, or at least do it only once a week, so that you're not bloated and indigestion. Because when you're standing up to pray and you have to pass gas every time, then you have to break your ibadah and the routine, and then go do your wudu again, and then come back.
Yes.
So
Very common problem.
it is
Yes.
too much information, but it's very practical, because that's what happens. I know
Exactly.
my son and my daughter are learning how to pray, and they're like, oh my God, I have to go do my wuzu again. I was like, yeah, because this is what you ate, and obviously it's going to cause that. So we need to be aware of what we are putting in our body, and how our body reacts to these foods. So avoid those foods if you want to avoid bloating and indigestion. Hope that answers your question.
It does.
That's actually really funny. The quick note, like the what you talked about, especially if you're the imam, please, please be careful what you're eating. I remember one time there was a kid leading in a part, in a babat or whatever. It was a kid leading, and he broke his namaz, and we're like, what just happened? So this can
It's
happen.
very practical. Like I said, it's TMI, but it's very practical. It's something that happens to all of us. And we're all trying to avoid, oh, I hope I don't, let me stay in Wuzu and do my Isha also, because, Maghrib and Isha is close together. And some
Exactly.
people are like, oh no, I just broke my Wuzu, so I have to go do another Wuzu, and then they delay the namaz, right? And then you're like,
Exactly.
okay, I have to do Wuzu, okay, I'll do it later. So it really affects your ibadah, and Ramazan's all about praying and spending your
Exactly.
time in these quality activities instead of focusing more on food.
So this is question is a little bit relative to me. So like as I said, I work in the city. So a lot of times when my iftar happens, believe it or not, it's on the bus. So it's halal zabiha and all that. So I will just grab whatever salad is available and whatnot. How somebody like me who's about 5 days a week, 3 to 5 days a week, is having vegetables in iftar, like how do I maintain my energy levels, somebody who's focused on and I'm not vegetarian by choice, obviously. When I don't have access to zabiya halal, that's when I will be eating that. So how would you recommend doing that? Like how would I manage my protein intake and my diet in Ramadan specifically?
Okay, first of all, kudos if you're not choosing to, but you're still eating so many vegetables. I cannot stress enough that how our vegetables used to be 80, 90 years ago, they're not the same. The fiber content is not as much as it used to be. Our bananas used to be bigger and it had seeds in it, right? Today we don't, sorry, smaller before and with seeds in it. Today we don't see bananas, we don't know that bananas have seeds. Your mother and my mother, we didn't see that. And we also don't, because today we see there are watermelon with seed and without seed. Maybe our kids and our kids, our grandkids probably might not even know that there were seeds in watermelon, because agriculture over the course has changed the way we have farmed our produced our fruits and vegetables. So if you're eating vegetables, that's great, I would say. But hey, now if you're not able to find halal meat out in the market, I would always say, if you're having vegetables and salad, great, add some protein to it. Now, how can you do that? There's 2 or 3 ways. Now, if it's not available in the market, fish is an easy way. It's halal anytime, right? So even if you get fish from anywhere, if there's an option, if you can't have chicken or beef because it's not halal, then you go up for fish, all right? If not that, boiled eggs. Boiled eggs, you can always add 1 to 2 eggs. And please, for God's sake, yes, have those eggs. Eggs are so important for you. Even the yellow part, the yolk, is so important. It is not going to give you cholesterol. At least one yolk a day. It's healthy fats. It has so much nutrients. Have it. I give it to my kids every morning. Like, we fight over it, but they have to have an egg every morning. Egg is not bad for you. So have the yolk, have the egg, have 2 eggs if you want to. If you feel that you have high cholesterol or you have issues, then have 1 yolk and have 3 egg whites. Okay. So you can add eggs to it, and you can take boiled eggs either from your home or Starbucks pay, or there's so many coffee shops, or there's so many other like grocery stores where eggs boiled milte in a pack, right? So you can add eggs to your salad. That's one way. Second way is add yogurt. If you cannot have any meat, you don't have access to eggs even, then get a yogurt, a small yogurt cup. Again, not naming brands, but there are ones that are low fat or no fat, no sugar added, plain yogurts, and you can add your veggies to that. A lot of times I tell my clients to do raitas, right? Because raitas, you put vegetables in there, you put some salt, pepper, there's taste in there, and then you can have the entire bowl of yogurt, and it's so refreshing and healthy. So yogurt is one way of adding your protein. Another great way is eggs. If you're not able to get any halal meats, then fish is another way of doing it. Or you can carry a whey protein with you. So what you can do is you can carry that powder with you. You can have your salad, and then you can add just water in that bottle, shake it, and have your protein, because protein is so important. You have to understand, women over 30, 35, your muscle is depleting. And why do I work out? I don't work out to lose weight. I work out to maintain my muscle mass, because this is what is going to cause longevity and health. You have seen so many of your mothers, mother-in-laws, your nannies, your dadis complaining about knee pains and issues, and that is because you are not strength training. And by the time you reach 40, 45, you don't even have that strength to push something, because you don't have the muscles in your body anymore. Your collagen and your muscle is constantly depleting past 30, 35. And if you're not replenishing it by protein, by strength training, adding some form of collagen to your diet, you are going to suffer. So I always say, I don't support a lot of supplements, but protein powder and whey protein powder is very important. If you really want to maintain muscle, you want to add good protein to your diet. I understand for a lot of people, halal is an issue. So you can always opt for vegan protein. Okay. Get a plant-based protein. That's completely fine too. Plant-based collagen, completely fine too. As long as you are adding it to your diet. Please add these things to your diet.
Now Binish is gonna take eggs in her bag every day. Sure.
Yes,
Boiled eggs, easy.
That's more convenient form of routine, I guess.
exactly.
So yeah.
Good.
I was going to ask about a very important question. I think it's the problem of majority of the audience, I'm sure. And for me also, water is not issue, food is not issue, it's the caffeine. So how to handle the caffeine withdrawals in the Ramadan?
Okay. A great question, and I get this a lot of times. And my clients who are already working with me, I always tell them, taper the caffeine off. So if you're having like 3 cups a day, so come Ramadan, a week before, start going to 2 cups, or and then go to 1 cup. So tapering off is the way to do it. Now, I understand you do need caffeine. So caffeine in the morning is still better than doing it at iftar, because you don't want to be up all night. You want to get some sleep in. So again, you can have caffeine, but remember that tea and coffee are diuretic drinks. They do deplete your water content from your body. You're going to pee a lot, you're going to lose a lot of water, it will dehydrate you. So for everyone, and this is something that a lot of my clients struggle with, for every 1 cup of chai or coffee, any cup, you're going to do extra 2 glasses of water. So if you want to maintain, and because it's going to dehydrate you, so you're going to have a worse time. Coffee, the caffeine gives you a good boost of energy, but then it gives you a sudden crash as well. So that is one thing that I don't like about coffee. I've cut coffee completely out of my life. I used to do black coffee a lot, but I stopped doing that. So another, a healthy alternative would be matcha. Matcha is much more cleaner. It comes from a leaf. It's like green tea or a yerba mate tea. I highly recommend. There's so many brands out there in the market. Just make sure you get a clean one. Yerba mate tea or matcha tea is much better than coffee or chai. It'll still give you the caffeine that you need. Now, I understand some people who have not, the geniuses who've not tapered it off, then, and you still have that going on, I highly recommend taking slow release or time release caffeine capsules available in the market. So many brands are there. Try to get one. There's vegan brands, there's non-vegan brands. So whatever works for you. I have named some brands on my page, and I'm not sure if I should name them here, but I do have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. So if you want to head there and look at some brands, you can. Those capsules will give you a very slow release throughout the day. So their time control, their sustained energy, they'll give you that energy throughout, little bit of boost of caffeine throughout the day instead of giving all of it at once like a cup of coffee would do. And if you're able to, like, I know a lot of people are used to like 3 cups of coffee, and now what do we do, right? So you can't take 3 pills one at a time, right? So what you do is maybe take 1 pill an hour before sahur, and then take, because see, if you take all 3 pills together, what it's going to do is it's going to release the coffee at the same time. And then a lot of people, when you, because you're drinking 1 cup of coffee at one time, and then 3 hours later you're drinking another cup, right? But when you're taking those time release capsules, all 3 at once, they will all release slowly, right? But the concentration of caffeine is going to be higher, so you're going to get jitters and palpitations. So you don't want to do that. You definitely want to stick to 1 capsule. And if you feel that that's not cutting it, then you can possibly do one an hour before sahur, and then one right at end of sahur. So slowly it'll release the caffeine throughout the day, and you'll have, that energy to keep going on. But cleaner sources are available. I always say matcha is a better source. Matcha is so good for your skin, by the way. It is full of nutrients. Then yerba mate is another amazing tea. It's not taking so much popularity right now, but matcha definitely has picked up, and it's a cleaner source of caffeine than coffee or tea.
Excellent. So you covered a lot of great topics today, Hafsa, and I really, there should be no question. I think you've answered a lot of questions even that we weren't thinking of asking, and I'm sure a lot of the audience agrees with that. I just want to walk everybody through an average person's day while fasting. You eat a paratha, no to that. You'll have like lassi with lots of sugar in it, like have smoothie, but don't put sugar itne zyada nahi dalo because it'll spike, as Hafsa told us. And
Can
then
I cut you here, Binish?
yes, go for it.
We didn't talk about this, but let's talk sweeteners, because a lot of people who are diabetic or people who are health conscious, they don't want to put, but you don't want to give up on sweets, right? You want to still have something sweet. So that great point that you picked up, lassi with sugar, you can add, there are 3 or 4 sweeteners in the market that I will tell you, I will not name brands, but I'll tell you which ones you can go and look out for. They are healthy, they're natural, they're occurring in nature, and they're not bad for you. For example, there's something called allulose. I use it a lot in baking, right? So that's a great alternative to sugar. It's not going to spike your blood sugars. It's not going to spike your insulin. It's a great way of adding sweetness to your desserts, to your drinks, to your coffee, to your tea, to your lassi even. Lassi is a great way of getting your protein and yogurt in. So that's one. Another one is stevia, and I highly recommend it. It's natural. It comes from a plant, and from the bark of a plant, and it's very healthy. The third one is monk fruit sugar. Again, a lot of people have issues with the aftertaste, which is a little bitter, but then it is again another great source of sweetening your your tea, your coffee, or your drinks. So you can opt for another one, which is a great one, is date sugar. So it's out available in the market. You can get it from Amazon, Whole Foods, major stores carry it. Allulose is there in the baking aisle. If you go in the baking aisle, it's right next to sugar. So if you're diabetic and you're watching your waistline, or you're trying to lose weight, so allulose is a great one. Date sugar is also right next to it. So date sugar is very high in fiber also, because it's made out of dried dates, right? And it doesn't spike. It's natural. It's nothing bad for your body. So these four sweeteners you can add to your diet anytime. Especially if you're diabetic, please take these. If you're not diabetic, you're trying to watch your weight, you can also have these.
Okay,
Excellent. So
awesome.
I'm sorry.
You increased my knowledge today. I was aware of stevia and monk fruit only as in healthy sweeteners, but I would definitely try the other
Date
two.
sugar is amazing, especially
Okay,
because it has a lot of fiber in it too.
Excellent.
awesome,
So
awesome.
that's what I was saying. Like, you're giving healthy alternatives to our traditional foods, like air fry your pakoras if you really must, and you can add stevia, or you can add the date sugar.
Allulose, yeah.
Exactly. And I always like to say, whenever you're actually eating, like, there's a phrase that I often say, is this worth my calories? So, like, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, if something doesn't have nutritional value, and also sometimes a lot of these fatty foods don't taste that great. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. So, like, is it really worth adding that to your diet? And just for the sake of, okay, yeah, this is a traditional food that we always eat in our family, whatever. So thank you so much for covering that. uh, Busha, would you like to take the next?
yeah. I think, ask very important question. That is about sustaining the habits we somehow able to adopt during the Ramadan. Ramadan is all about sustaining the spiritual habits, and I believe physical as well. Allah has kept this one for a reason, right? So,
Yeah.
if you can give us some tips like how we can sustain these healthy habits which we have developed or able to develop somehow during the Ramadan.
Okay, so a great way is hydration first and foremost. And I truly believe that you have to understand that this body is your vehicle for life. You have to take care of it. If you don't take care of it and you don't see what you're putting in your body, you will have issues later in life. So what do you want to do? You want to take care of it today so that your next 5-10 years are better, or you want to enjoy the foods that your mind or your heart is craving, and then have issues and spend over medication throughout the rest of your life. So, the first and foremost thing is hydrate. The first thing you put in your mouth when you wake up, your body's going to crave it all day. Okay. So, that's why I put water in my body. I literally, and I'm not lying to you, I have a big 40-ounce tumbler that I keep on my bedside. We all wake up in the morning, right? Nobody gets right away from their bed. Everybody's either on their phone, scrolling, checking emails, whatever. I do that. I'm guilty of that too. So because it takes me 15-20 minutes to come to my senses, right? So in that time, while I'm doing that, I drink my water. So I highly recommend, whatever time you wake up, whether you make up for suhoor, whether you make up just like that, everybody has those 15-10 minutes to spare. Sip on your water first thing in the morning. Hydrate your body. Even better if you add electrolytes to it. So I keep my water at night on my bedside, and then I go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I know I don't have to get up from the bed. I know it's right there. I'll grab it and have it. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I cannot stress enough on this. Secondly, when you're sitting down to eat, especially obviously after Ramadan, you're going to have probably 3 meals, right? And maybe some snacks as well. So if you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, prioritize protein in there. So protein is your way to go, right? You want to have at least one quarter. Now, when I'm coaching my clients, there's so many methods, and there's a plate method that is my specific patented plate method that I teach my clients. But if you don't know where to start, a great way is to look at your palm, right? This is the size of your palm, and this is how much protein you should be having in every meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Now, if you're having protein of this size, it's almost probably going to be close to 25 to 30 grams. When you have 30 grams of protein in every meal, you are going to shed weight, you're going to have sustained energy throughout the day. And because when you increase your protein intake, your body's thermogenic environment also increases, and it helps burn fat. So you have to understand why we always say, you're going to a trainer or a nutritionist or a dietitian or a registered nurse, they're going to say prioritize protein. Why do they say that? This is why they say it. And especially if you're 30, 35 plus, it's even more important for you to prioritize protein, because you need to retain your muscle mass. So that's the first thing. Now, half of your plate should be vegetables or fruits, some form of fiber. So your vegetables and fruits have a lot of fiber. Now you want to do healthier or different kinds of colorful kind of vegetables in your plate. So you want to do at least 2 or 3 colors. For example, you could have some greens, some reds, some browns, some purples. So you can have a mix of zucchini. You can have a mix. I love cucumber. Even if you're out of vegetables, everybody has cucumber and tomatoes in their houses. So I always say, even if you're out of your vegetable or grocery, always make sure you're having some form of cucumbers and in a cup or in a raita, whatever. So half your plate should be vegetables. One fourth of your plate, which is the palm size, should be your meat, which is your protein. It could also be a cup of yogurt if you're non-vegetarian. You can have tofu, you can have tempeh, you can have soy. There's so many different sources of protein as well. So you can have that. And then the last half of your plate or quarter of your plate, which is going to be your carbs. Now, choose your carbs carefully. I am not demonizing white rice or brown rice or anything. You can have rice and carbs in moderation if you follow this plate method. If you are going to have half of your plate as vegetables, one quarter of it as your or palm size protein, and then whatever is left of your plate, that's where you put your carbs. And if you eat this way for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there is no way you're going to have issues with health or gaining weight or struggling with obesity or those kind of things. If you focus on protein, even when you're having snacks, for example, if you're having a snack in between your breakfast and lunch, and a fruit is your choice of your snack. So a fruit should always be taken, you have to see the content of sugar in it. For example, if you're diabetic, I would say stay away from full bananas. Even if you feel like having a banana, have it half, because they're so big, so you don't want that spike of sugar, right? Instead of red apples, opt for green apples, healthier, less sugar, right? Instead of grapes, which are really high in sugar, go for berries. Berries are a superfood, especially blueberries. Now, those fruits you have, now you add a source of which are your carbs, right? So you're going to add a source of healthy fats, for example, nuts or some seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, different kinds of seeds, pumpkin seeds. And then you add a little bit of protein in there. You can do a cheese stick, for example. What do you call them? The string cheese. So I used to give that to my kids a lot for their snacks. So you can always pair your snack around healthy fats and protein. When you do that, your spikes from your carbs, for example, your fruits are carbs, it's not going to be so high. It's not going to spike your insulin so high. So understanding that insulin is it's not about diabetes, guys. Insulin is the biggest hormone in your body that controls everything. So if you understand how to control your insulin in the body, you will never have weight management issues. So always understand, when you're having carbs, pair it with a healthy fat and a protein source. And when you're going to do that, you're never going to have any issues of spike energies and all of that. You will have sustained energy. You're not going to feel hungry throughout the day. You're not going to have cravings. The biggest thing is cravings. Oh, I'm craving this. Please don't say that, because cravings means nothing but just a lack of nutrients in your body. So when a pregnant woman says that, okay, I'm craving something, I understand, because she's giving most of her nutrients to her baby. What is your excuse? You're not pregnant. How are you craving things? That's basically, it's a sign that your body is giving you that you are lacking some minerals or vitamins, right? So focus on that. Take your blood work every 6 months to a year. Check if you are deficient in any, because when I start or take a client, the first thing is, when was the last time you got your blood work done? Give me those results, because that will tell me a lot about what your body's doing. Your A1C, your insulin, A1C is not just about diabetics, guys. It's not about diabetes. A1C is your biggest the insulin is your biggest hormone that's going to dictate how your body is absorbing food. So please take note of that. If you are 5.7 or above, you are heading towards diabetes. So you want to cut that down. How would you manage that? Your vitamin D levels. And inherently, unfortunately, women from the subcontinent, we become depleted in vitamin D reserves very quickly, as opposed to if I see like Caucasian clients, like white clients, or somebody who's a little darker tone. But for us who come from the subcontinent region, even not just the subcontinent, all of Asia, I have clients who come from Japan, Singapore. I don't know, for some reason genetically, I don't know why, maybe they're more tropical countries, we get vitamin D depleted and deficient very quickly and early in life as compared to Caucasian women. So vitamin D levels, please get them checked. Your calcium, your potassium, these are things that support your bone, your internal health. So this is the way to go when you are actually looking at your health. look at your blood work, look at what you're eating, and your blood work will also tell you how you should eat. So please consult somebody, a doctor, a nutritionist, get help. If you don't, and I'm telling you, a lot of my clients who worked with me today, they know how to eat. And you're not going to be my client for life, right? You're going to probably understand how to eat, and then you're going to take that away. And because I have so many other clients to focus on, so I teach you. And once you've learned, you now know how to manage your weight and how to go about eating the foods right, in a right way.
Okay, so
Exactly.
it's all about making it lifestyle, not just for a month. So
Yes,
very helpful conversation today. You helped me in renewing my resolution, which we make in the start of every year. I am more determined after Ramadan
absolutely.
to take these tips into practical way.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And I mean, I will honestly say that I think a lot of times, women and men, when we talk about Ramadan, it's either about, oh, let's be honest, a lot of are like, okay, I'm going to be fasting, so I probably will lose weight. And some people are like, nahi, mera to hamesha gain hota hai. But you actually mention a very good point that when we're trying to lead a healthy lifestyle, it's not about losing weight. It's about maintaining muscle mass. It's about maintaining energy. I remember we used to joke about no offense to girls that are, kind of emaciated, but anyways, like we would often joke that what's the point of being this skinny, but if you're just like this, was just
Yeah.
like a wallflower, just not a wallflower, just sitting on the side having no energy, itni energy nahi hai ki aap even baat kar sako, right? So like you should have, and being healthy means being able to not only, yes, be fit in the whatever standard you think is fit, but also be able to do things, not just sit in one spot and look pretty, actually be able to push something, lift something, go about your normal day, and whether you're a man or a woman. And so that's really, you speak of a good point, that like knowing what you should be eating has a lot to do with what your body is lacking. Many of us, I have so many friends that can eat loads of carbs and they won't gain a pound. Yet if I even, I'm Kashmiri, तो हम चावल को सूंघ भी लें, तो it's like 5 pound.
Okay, very good point. That's a really good point, Binesh, that you built upon. Now, my tagline generally on my page, or how I advertise, or how I, put out my motto, it's all about being healthy, not skinny. So skinny does not always mean healthy. I do not promote size zero or weight loss. I have so many clients who come to gain weight. I promise you. Okay,
Everybody hear
I yes.
this?
So skinny is not about being healthy. What you the problem is, you guys want to be skinny. You guys don't want to be healthy. And remember, healthy looks different on everybody. And
Exactly.
that's why when you come to me, there's so much customization that I give you, because everybody is different. Even, and I'll tell you this, I have a set of twins, two girls who are teenagers, identical twins, completely different diet and nutrition I'm giving both of them. One lost about 8 pounds, and then the other lost about 12 pounds in a month, and the other one was getting mad. Hey, you have to understand, you may look identical, you may come from the same parents, but your body has a different chemical and genetic makeup. You are two different individuals. So everybody, even you and your sister, you probably, Binish, could probably smell food and gain weight. Your sister could eat so much and still not gain weight. So there's a body type. You have to, and that's where your blood work comes into play. You have to see how your metabolism is acting. Is it acting against your body, or is it acting in favor of your body? Secondly, if you have issues like thyroid or PCOS, then you will always have an issue with weight gain, or because your metabolism is going slow, right? It's going against your body. So you have to, there are things that you have to, there's so many factors that come into play when it comes to food. It's not about skinny, it's always about healthy. And hey, healthy can look so different on so many different bodies. Okay, I'm big boned, I'm a broad girl, I am not a very petite girl. I feel great in my body because I'm healthy. I know that I have the strength that I need. I have two kids, I have to take care of them. I have a family to take care of, I have in-laws to take care of. So if I'm not taking care of myself, how am I going to take care of them? And if I'm just focusing on, oh, mujhe skinny hona hai, I can be skinny, but I will still not be healthy. I will not be able to go through the day. So yes, a great point that you picked up, that there are different body types. People say there's some people who actually, for example, there are certain athletes that I work with, right? And I give them a lot of carbs Generally, I will not give carbs to a lot of clients who are diabetic or who are trying to lose weight, but then there are clients who are athletic or who have a very active metabolism or active lifestyle. I give them a lot of carbs because then carbs give you energy, so they need that energy. If you're a marathon runner and I don't give you carbs, where are you going to get your energy? Because your body
Hmm.
converts either sugar or your carbs turn into sugar to give you energy, right? So obviously we don't want to give them sugar, but we have to give them enough carbs or complex carbs to give them sustained energy throughout the day. So it's very important to know your lifestyle, your body type, what your blood work says. These are important factors. Just because somebody is following a keto diet, I'm going to also follow it because they lost weight. No, your body is different. You're a different person. You're a different individual. Your genetic and chemical balance in the body is completely different from that person. So do not blindly go follow a diet. Consult your blood work, consult your doctor, see a dietitian, see a nutritionist. These are always things you want to put into play.
Okay.
Excellent.
I'm loving this conversation and I never want this session to end, but looks like we need to have more sessions, Beanish. Especially, I would like to have on the topic of insulin, insulin resistance, and the specific diet autoimmune disease people like who are suffering from autoimmune diseases they need. It would be amazing topic, and definitely I would love to have Hafsa again on the
Absolutely, it
session.
will be my
And
pleasure.
and guys, to the wider audience out there, Hafsa, would you please mention? Hafsa is on social media, and she, as she mentioned, she does do this professionally as a service. So please do reach out to her. Hafsa, I will definitely be tagging her Instagram as well, her Facebook page. But Hafsa, would you like to mention anything in terms of your details, how we can
Yeah,
reach out?
I have a Facebook page. Most of my clients are international or they reach out to me online. I don't provide a lot of face to face. Mostly my clients come through referrals or from around the world through my Instagram or my Facebook. My Facebook page is called Hafsa Z Farooqi. You can look me up. It is an open profile, so you can send me a message or my number is also written there. My Instagram handle is The Healthy Half. TheHealthyHaf. So it's The Healthy Half. And then you can look me up on Instagram. You can send me a message there. My number is there as well. Those who have family who's already done it with me, they reach out to me with through WhatsApp. So yes, I cater to pretty much everywhere. I have clients in Dubai, Doha, Singapore, Amsterdam, Pakistan, India, Nepal. I have some Bengali clients as well. So all around US and over the world, I'm catering to everybody with their specific problems. So yeah, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much, and I'll definitely be tagging Hafsa in our as we wrap up. I'll tag her in our the details for our live as well, and then whether thank you all, Hafsa and Bushra, for being part of today's discussion, and for everyone out there who joined us. Our discussion on nutrition and health during Ramadan. As we've heard from Hafsa, caring for our bodies through mindful eating, hydration, and rest is not only important for our physical well-being, but it also enhances our spiritual experience during the sacred month. She mentioned a lot about that we should always remember what this month is about. Roze hamare pe farz hain, pakode nahi. Whether it's planning balanced meals for suhoor and iftar, staying hydrated between fasts, or recognizing and respecting the unique needs of each individual, small intentional choices can make a big difference. And we hope that you leave today feeling more informed, empowered, and inspired to approach Ramadan with both strength and compassion for yourself and for others. On behalf of Women to Women, we wish you a safe and healthy and spiritually fulfilling Ramadan. And thank you once more, Hafsa, for joining us and
Thank you.
enlightening us once about this very important topic for Ramadan and beyond. Actually, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
ladies.
Thank
Thank you.
you. All right, take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes.